Check Test tab. After performing short test in distance room, it is time to do check test and search test. In check test, the upper and lower tolerance of the relay, which are displayed as dotted line in impedance view, are tested and evaluated. To perform a check test, first it's necessary to draw lines named check line in different parts of the diagram. To draw this line, first from check line section, the origin point of this line is specified in origin in Z field. The test impedance value is entered as a number. Note that if a negative number, for example minus 2.5, is entered, since there is no negative impedance, this negative value will influence the angle. This means that it will be subtracted from 180 degrees angle in phi field. The impedance angle is entered within the range of minus 180 to 180 in phi field, and if in this cell a number higher than this range is entered, automatically that number will be displayed in the specified range. For example, if 455 degrees is entered in this field, 95 degrees will be displayed. In addition to using Z and phi fields, you can specify origin impedance using R and X fields. R and X are real and imaginary of impedance. In fact, the four fields of Z, phi, R, and X are linked, and by changing the value of one of them, the others change accordingly. In angle field, the angle of the check line, and in the cell of the length section, the length of the check line is entered. In percentage field, it is possible to specify the length of check line in terms of a percentage of the length specified in test object by default. By enabling the relative option, you can make the length of the line dependent on the parameter specified in off field. The value of the parameter specified in off field is multiplied by the value of percentage field, and the length of the line is formed. If relative is checked, by changing the value of the off parameter, the value of percentage cell does not change and the new value of the length is calculated. If relative checkbox is not enabled and the value of the off parameter is changed, the value of length field remains fixed and the value of percentage changes. Note that the drawn check lines need to have an intersection with at least one of the tolerance lines of the characteristic curve. Then click on Add option so that the check line is added to the check test lines table. Another method for drawing the check line is to hold down the left click and the control key on Impedance View window and then move the cursor in the desired direction on the characteristic curve. You can see that the information of the drawn check line is displayed in check test lines table. After drawing the check line, the software evaluates the crossing place of check line and tolerance lines as short test in accordance with the performance of the relay. Here, after performing the test, the relay does not perform the upper tolerance and performs a trip in the lower tolerance so that the result of the test is pass. Other parts of this section, such as fault type and remove all and sequence, etc., options are the same as those of short test section, which have been explained in previous videos. The only additional option in this section is copy to search. By marking any of these test lines and selecting this option, it is possible to copy the selected line search test, and by selecting Add option in search test, add this line to the search test line table. Search test tab. After performing short test and check test in distance room, it is time to do search test. The purpose of this test is to find the exact location of the characteristic curve line. To perform a search test, first it is necessary to draw lines named search line in different parts of the diagram, which is the same as the method explained for check line. And all of the mentioned notes for check line is true for search line too. After drawing the search line, the software evaluates the crossing place of search line and tolerance lines as short tests in accordance with the performance of the relay. By performing the test, the software interpolates the characteristic curve by testing some points on the search line to find the exact location of the characteristic curve. Other parts of this section, such as fault type and remove all and sequence, etc., options are the same as those of short test section, which have been explained in previous videos. The ignore field in the search interval is used when the defined characteristic curve is not considered for the search line. By entering a number in this section, some points are added on the search line with the entered number as their distance. For example, by entering 150 milliohms in this field, you can see that there are points added on this search line with as much as 150 milliohms of distance. If the test is performed, the points added on the search line are tested one after the other so that the exact location of the relay is specified. This option is used when there is no characteristic curve for the test or the current characteristics seem to be wrong. If you want to do this for all drawn test lines, you can use the Setting tab in Ignore Nominal Characteristics section. To do this, by entering the value of search interval and selecting Apply to All option, you can apply this setting to all test lines and find a relay characteristic.